If you have social anxiety, then this video is going to be the most important one you'll ever watch. My name is Sean, and this is a water bottle. And in this short and free presentation, I'm going to show you how this regular water bottle cured my severe social anxiety that I struggled with for over 21 years. You'll see why social anxiety is not all in your head, which is what makes it so difficult to overcome, and why common advice offered by online articles, books, and even pro therapists usually doesn't work for you. I'll also show you the number one mistake that keeps most people stuck with social anxiety for years, wasting the best years of your life feeling lonely and depressed. This one breakthrough tip will let you talk in conversations without ever running out of things to say. It'll let you stop feeling nervous and awkward around people, and it'll even allow you to get the interesting life, friendships, and romantic relationship which you know would make you happy. In fact, what I'm going to tell you about is something you can start doing today, right now in your own home, without taking any weird pills or going to expensive and embarrassing therapy. And I know if all this sounds a bit unrealistic, I too thought that I would be stuck with my social anxiety forever before I personally tried out these little known tips to cure my social anxiety. And I've already taught 3,700 other social anxiety sufferers just like you who've used them to stop feeling anxious, awkward, and quiet around people. This will probably go against most of what you've read or heard before in online forums, articles, and even books about social anxiety. And that's because most people don't know the truth about our problem. And you definitely won't hear about this from your local doctor or therapist, I promise you that. Not because it doesn't work, but because the $17.3 billion social anxiety industry can't possibly profit. They can't fit this into a pill or charge you by the hour for what I'm going to show you. So rest assured, what I'm going to be showing you today, it's based on a breakthrough discovery by a Nobel Prize winning scientist named Torsten Wiesel. Discovered by a famous neuroscientist and now backed by countless scientific research papers, this little known brain trick targets the root biological cause of your social anxiety so you can turn off the socially anxious part of your brain like turning off a light switch permanently. A quick warning, be sure you keep watching this brand new video presentation until the very end today, because I'm about to share with you a personal story of mine which is pretty embarrassing. So I may decide to take this video down soon, so make sure you keep watching until the very end. Really quickly about me, a little tidbit you may not already know. Over the past 5 years, I've been interviewed by psychologists, therapists, and other experts about social anxiety. My articles and videos are seen by tens of thousands of people every month. I'm known as the Shyness and Social Anxiety Guy, a voice for people who struggle with talking to people, making friends, or even picking up the phone or getting outside the house. But it definitely wasn't always like this. I can still remember a few years ago, it was a regular Monday for me back in high school. I usually would arrive to chemistry class late so I could avoid small talk. But right as I sat down at my desk in the back corner of the room, the guy in the desk beside me turns to me and asks, "Hey Sean, so what did you do this weekend?" Instant anxiety. I didn't know what to say, and I felt more awkward and uncomfortable with every second that passed, as I desperately tried to make up a lie or change the subject. See, I was afraid of people knowing the truth. Alone on a Saturday night, aimlessly surfing the internet. For years, that's what I called my social life. And if that sounds miserable and depressing to you, that's because it was. I had no real friends, literally nobody I talked to outside of school or work. I had no idea how to keep a conversation going with most people, especially if I didn't know them well. I'd always run out of things to say or have my mind go blank, which led to really awkward silences. What did people actually talk about every day? In fact, I was always the shy, quiet one in any group, the one who never said a word. Usually people would forget that I was even there, like I was invisible or something. I was secretly jealous of all those loud people who never had anything real intelligent to say, but they made socializing look so easy and enjoyable. Meanwhile, I couldn't even look people in the eye or even go outside my house without feeling incredibly nervous, tense, and on edge. My armpits would be drenched in sweat just going to the grocery store. I was also very self-conscious and insecure about how I looked. Corny as it sounds, I never really felt good about myself. Needless to say, I was always ignored by girls I liked, who held hands with the more popular and confident guys. No girl ever seemed interested in me, and I didn't know what to say to girls I liked, so I kept being a kissless virgin all throughout high school and into university, fantasizing about someday having a girlfriend. And even though my mom told me I'd grow out of shyness, it just seemed to be getting worse as I got older. To be honest, all I ever wanted was to be a normal person with a normal life, getting invited to parties without feeling scared, having friends I could laugh and do interesting things with, having a girlfriend I could cuddle and feel close to. Was that too much to ask? In reality, the people who were sort of friends never actually invited me anywhere, and they made me feel self-conscious by saying things like, "Why are you so quiet?" or "Your face is red," embarrassing me in front of many people. Even worse, my parents took advantage of my lack of confidence to bully me into doing everything they wanted. From forcing me to study for a career I had no passion for, to sweating in front of a hot girl 10 hours each summer day working at their fast food restaurant, to humiliating me by always asking me questions like, "When are you going to get a girlfriend?" And don't even get me started on all the weird stuff I did just to avoid people. In my first year of university, I was going to the University of Ottawa. That's in the capital city of Canada. I lived in the dormitories in a little room with about 15 other students on the same floor. Big mistake. There was always so many people in the hallways that I was afraid to leave my room, even if I needed to go to the bathroom really badly. I'd hold my pee in for a very long time until the coast was clear. One Friday night, I was sitting in my room in the dark. It was raining hard outside, and I could hear muffled music, loud drunken voices, and laughter of girls echoing through the hallway. This meant there was a party on my floor. I was terrified of parties, so I shut off the lights in my room and was being totally quiet so they wouldn't think I was inside. And even when their drunken voices came to my door and someone started banging loudly outside, calling my name, I ignored it. Well, after a good several hours of hiding from them and holding my pee in, I was starting to get very uncomfortable. I regretted that I drank a lot of water before, which was slowly making its way through my body. Every time I almost got up the courage to go to the bathroom, I'd suddenly hear footsteps pounding past my door, which made me jump back in terror. I couldn't let them see me now. They'd ask where I'd been. Finally, the pressure got to be too much. I'm really ashamed to admit this, but I grabbed an empty water bottle, unscrewed the lid, and I finally relieved myself. Then I put the bottle under my bed and I thought, wow, this is so damn weird. But that was nothing compared to what happened to me a couple days later. My parents, who lived 1 hour away from my university, decided to visit me on Sunday to drop off some food. They came up to my room, and after we hugged, they remembered they'd forgotten a book for me in their car, so I offered to run downstairs and get it. And it was just as I left my room with both my parents still inside that I realized I'd left the bottle, yes, that one, still under my bed, completely exposed. Suddenly I felt my hands and my whole body turn cold and sweaty. I felt my heart hammering through my chest, and I felt my stomach twisting from the inside. If they saw that bottle, I would die of the shame, embarrassment, and humiliation. I panicked and started running towards their car, hoping I could get back to my room before they looked underneath the bed. I'll tell you what happened next at the end of this video, but the reason why I'm telling you this story from my past is because that was the day I made the most important decision of my life. It was right in those most uncomfortable moments that I decided something had to change. I realized over years I've been slowly getting used to living this way and keeping to myself. I distracted myself from reality with movies, games, and websites, but at that moment I saw how bad my life really was and that it was just going to get worse if I did nothing. Was this what my whole life was going to be like? Hiding from people and acting like a crazy hermit? Growing old without friends or doing anything interesting with my life? I suddenly felt sick, imagining myself 70 years old, still nervous and scared of running out of things to say when I talk to people. That was the day I promised myself I would do whatever it took to cure my social anxiety. In the beginning, I didn't really expect to find anything important, but I was desperate, so I started doing research. I snuck out to the university library where I devoured textbooks for many different areas of psychology and cutting-edge therapies. I learned from the world's leading experts on self-esteem, confidence, dating, and conversation skills. I studied both professional speakers and pickup artists, both Hollywood acting teachers and Buddhist monks. I spent many months, morning till night, trying to find the solution to social anxiety. It wasn't easy, but you know what? It was worth every second. I was more surprised than anyone when I found myself becoming more outgoing, talkative, and even confident. I stopped being that quiet guy who never talked much. I no longer feel self-conscious, tense, or nervous going outside my home, even in crowded places. In fact, because of the methods I found to eliminate anxiety, I actually feel good before going to a first date, a loud party, or a job interview. My phone lights up just about every day with friends who invite me out to do things, so I no longer sit at home feeling depressed and forgotten. People actually make an effort to stay in contact with me now, which feels great. And after years of never having any girls show interest in me, I finally kissed a girl and lost my virginity. In a few months, I had a loving, caring girlfriend, something I thought would never happen. You know how women's magazines always say the number one thing they're attracted to is confidence? I can say from experience that this is 100% true. Getting rid of my social anxiety also allowed me to quit the job I hated, and I started doing a business that gives me total freedom. In fact, I recently got back from traveling in South America for 3.5 months, visiting the Amazon jungle, having crazy adventures, and making friends along the way. None of this would have been possible if I was still trapped in the prison of social anxiety. And my old so-called friends and family who used to take advantage of my social anxiety to feel superior and get what they wanted are simply shocked. Now I'm the one in control, and I bet they wish they'd been nicer to me when they had the chance. These days I live a life without constant anxiety, without social awkwardness, without loneliness, yet I haven't forgotten what it's like to have social anxiety. And I had discovered something so shocking, so groundbreaking, that I knew it would change the lives of people with social anxiety forever. And after I suddenly became much more confident and outgoing, one of my more shy friends, JP, saw my Facebook photos and new girlfriend. So he came to me and asked, "What happened to you, man?" JP had always been a guy who got left out at school and kids made fun of him for no reason. We used to get along because we were both unpopular kids. Now that he was older, he struggled with dating because of his painful shyness, and his louder coworkers made him feel small at work. To be honest, I felt bad for JP, and I could still relate to most of his issues. So I explained to him how I'd spent months reading books and researching psychology, and how I discovered that the fight or flight response was the root biological cause of social anxiety and shyness. And he said, "You have to teach me everything you learned." So even though I never really wanted to be a teacher, JP became my first student. I told him, "JP, when you have a blank mind or you don't know what to say to someone, or when you feel your heart beating fast before talking to a big group of people, or when you automatically become nervous and awkward around someone you find attractive, or someone you find intimidating like an authority figure, all of this is caused by your fight or flight response being misprogrammed." As I told this to JP, I could see his eyes getting wider as he nodded for me to continue. Now, what if I told you I stumbled upon research that showed me how to reprogram the way your fight or flight response works, using cutting-edge science to permanently turn off the socially anxious part of your brain? As strange as this sounds, this really is possible now. You see, a few years ago, a Nobel Prize-winning scientist named Torsten Wiesel discovered neuroplasticity. This means your brain is a bit like plastic because you can reshape the way it works, not just in childhood but even into old age. So I took Dr. Wiesel's breakthrough discovery of neuroplasticity, combined it with different psychology and conversation techniques, and figured out how to change the way I felt and acted around people. I figured out a process to remove social anxiety. Not just make you feel a bit better, but eliminate it permanently without drugs or therapy. After I'd spent a few more hours with JP, teaching him my step-by-step process, and seeing him quickly begin to come out of his shell too, I realized that there's thousands of other people all around the world who have social anxiety. People like you who are silently hoping that someone will show you the pathway out of your problems. So I made it my mission to help 25,000 people overcome social anxiety. and I wish I could give away all my hard-earned knowledge for free, but I knew if I wanted to impact this many people, I had to sell something because that would allow me to afford advertising to compete with those big drug companies and their billion-dollar budgets. So I did the impossible. I took the best techniques I discovered and put them all into a program that's specifically designed to help you eliminate social anxiety. If you want to stop feeling nervous and awkward around people, if you want to always know what to say in conversations, if you want to get a more interesting life, friends, and romantic relationship, then this is your answer. It's called the Shyness and Social Anxiety System, and it's now the leading program out there for overcoming social anxiety, proven with over 3,700 satisfied users. I've taken the best methods and little-known psychological tricks from many different areas of cutting-edge psychology. I've studied all these areas in detail, stolen their latest tactics, and put them together in a way that makes overcoming social anxiety simple and straightforward. Best of all, you'll be learning from me directly, someone who has personally struggled with severe social anxiety. So you can be sure you're getting detailed instructions for exactly what you need to do instead of boring stories and generic advice like fake it till you make it. This is totally new and different than anything else out there. I guarantee you won't find what I teach for free on the internet. My system is the only one to target the real biological cause of your social anxiety. So you get fast, noticeable, and permanent changes to the way you feel and act around people. It's almost like turning off the socially anxious part of your brain, like turning off a light switch. This will work for you no matter how bad your social anxiety is, how old you are, and even if you've been this way all your life. And before you start thinking this is one of those tired old self-help books from the 70s with advice like, what's the worst that can happen, or there's no reason to be shy, let me assure you it's not. You won't hear my theories about what works. I'm only going to give you simple, reliable methods and techniques with specific instructions that have been tested on myself and dozens of my clients and proven to work time and time again. And best of all, the system is an audio program that you can download and listen to on any MP3 player or on your computer. This means you can learn everything I know from the comfort and privacy of your own home. And if you prefer to read, the system comes with a 128-page PDF manual that covers all the same information as in the audios. Now, before we go any further, it's important for me to be 100% upfront and honest with you. This is definitely not some kind of weird hypnosis thing or magic pill solution that makes you confident while you sleep. So if that's what you're looking for, this is not for you. You will have to practice these techniques in the real world to get real results. In my experience, if something sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. But if you want the real answer to remove social anxiety quickly and permanently, if you want proven advice that is specifically designed for your exact problems, like not being able to think of what to say to people, then the Shyness and Social Anxiety System is not just a solution, it's the only solution for you. Here's a taste of what you'll learn in my system. On page 17, you'll see the seemingly harmless action your parents or relatives did that reinforced your social anxiety at a young age. This also explains why even to this day you still feel super anxious around them when you're talking to someone you're attracted to. You'll learn how to literally reprogram your brain to stop feeling nervous around people. This simple strategy removes anxiety permanently because it pulls your anxiety out of your brain by the very roots, like getting rid of a weed. The best part is, it works better and is much safer than any prescription drug. That's on page 20. How to make confident, steady eye contact without feeling uncomfortable. I'll show you exactly where you should look and for how long. Mess this up and people will either think you're weird or creepy, or that you have no self-confidence. That's on page 25. Have you ever seen someone you know walking towards you outside and gotten the sudden urge to cross the street or avoid them? Learn what this means about you on page 26. Alcohol and drugs. Traditional psychiatrists tell you to avoid them at all costs. I'll show you the little-known strategy that lets you use them to give yourself a strong natural confidence that lasts even after you sober up, page 28. A world-famous doctor's secret mental trick to gain social skills and experience in the comfort of your own home by yourself. Once you know this, your social fears will start to disappear without you having to talk to a single person. on page 32. Why facing your fears can sometimes hurt you more than help you. In fact, the less you face these types of situations, the more confident you'll become, on page 33. How to use the secrets of psychological conditioning to rapidly become more outgoing in the shortest time possible, even if you've always had problems motivating yourself to do anything outside the house, on page 37. One simple, easy adjustment in the way you breathe that instantly makes you stop feeling nervous. Imagine being able to go from tense and anxious to totally relaxed and at ease within a few moments anytime you want, on page 40. Cold hands. Why do socially anxious people get them even in summer, and how to make your hands feel normal in 30 seconds or less, on page 41. Do you hate how your voice sounds? Learn the secret technique developed by the founder of National Hospital of Speech Disorders to get rid of inner tension and unnaturalness instantly, which will give you a confident, flowing voice that people will love to hear, on page 45. The big secret no psychology book can ever tell you about having friends and making people want to be around you. This is what makes people want to be real friends with you, instead of just work buddies or classmates, on page 60. A breakthrough exercise developed by a famous plastic surgeon to trick yourself into thinking you're good looking, so that you never feel self-conscious and everything you do shows effortless confidence. Ever seen an ugly or fat person able to have lots of friends easily? This is how they do it, on page 63. The number one thing that exposes your lack of friends and social life to others. This instantly makes people look down on you and decide you aren't worth their time. Here's how to hide it, on page 67. Can self-help advice actually lower your self-esteem and confidence? This shocking study done by a Harvard psychologist reveals what common positive thinking tip you absolutely must avoid, on page 74. Do you constantly look in mirrors or windows? If you're always trying to check your reflection, especially when you go out in public, then you'll learn what this says about you on page 82. A simple 6-part mini course that takes you by the hand and shows you step by step how to develop unbreakable self-esteem, even if you've always been haunted by feelings of insecurity or inferiority. Once you learn my proven method, you'll never feel intimidated or sensitive to the words of people who are more confident, attractive, or successful than you. That's on page 84. Avoid these 7 subtle body language mistakes that make you look self-conscious and weird. Stop doing just a couple of these and you'll finally stop feeling embarrassed by the way you look, act, and sound in photos and home videos, on page 92. 5 secret acting techniques that will let you easily express your personality in a way that is spontaneous and interesting. If you've ever felt like you're too serious or boring, or that you just don't have interesting enough things to say, then these techniques are exactly what you need. People will finally enjoy talking to you and make an effort to get to know you instead of running off to more popular people. That's on page 93. How to think of the perfect thing to say in conversations as you are talking to someone instead of hours later when it's way too late. Page 95. Do you daydream, think a lot, or live inside your head? Then you need to read this on page 103. An ancient Buddhist technique, now being studied by modern science for becoming absolutely calm and in control at any moment. You can use this 3-second tip whenever you start to feel anxious, overwhelmed, uncomfortable, or worried, on page 108. The 2-step plan to become more outgoing and even start dating without your old friends and family noticing and putting you on the spot for it, on page 111. What to say when someone tells you you're shy or you're quiet or you don't talk much. Handle this awkward situation wrong and you're dust. Here's how to get the attention off of you and make everyone believe it was a joke at the same time. I love this one on page 112. Why you may be afraid to wear stylish or different cool clothes, what this means and how to overcome it, on page 112. Now here's what experts are saying about the shyness and social anxiety system. Dr. Todd Snyder from Chicago wrote to me to say, as a clinical psychologist specializing in social anxiety and self-help systems, I was amazed at how well Sean has distilled many of the principles that can actually make a difference for those of us who battle social anxiety. Sean's information is straight to the point and focused. Edward Azanu, a professional communication coach for 9+ years with a degree in psychology, told me, as a former shy, invisible guy myself, I find something fascinating in what Sean teaches in this system because you can tell he's been through it. He knows personally what it's like to have shyness and social anxiety, and he grasped how to beat it. The shyness and social anxiety system got me realizing things I wasn't aware of about overcoming social anxiety. And Stephen Handel, a psychology journalist with 300 plus articles written, said, as someone who has read and studied a lot of different systems in psychology and personal development over the past half decade, I can attest that the techniques shared in the shyness and social anxiety system work. Sean Cooper clearly understands the factors that influence our thoughts and behaviors, and how we can change these aspects of ourselves to build a more successful social life. By the way, all these quotes are 100% real. You can even search their names on Google to see that they're real people. If you're looking for the most effective way to get rid of social anxiety on the planet, then you've probably already figured out that the shyness and social anxiety system is your answer. Now, you may be concerned that this totally one-of-a-kind system will cost you quite a bit. And in all honesty, it really should. Considering that the system originally took me months to research, and that I've spent the last 5 years of my life teaching and refining these techniques to help thousands of people produce rapid personal changes in themselves, and considering that you'd pay a therapist over $150 an hour to learn a small fraction of what I share, yet I only felt right making this affordable for every person who wants to eliminate social anxiety. So don't worry, I'll get to the price in just a minute. Along with the main system, you'll also be getting some free bonuses for watching to the end of this presentation. The first bonus is a report called How to Always Know What to Say Next. In this report, I'll show you what people usually talk about to have interesting conversations. Whenever you don't know what to say next, just use the simple 3-step conversation threading technique on page 7 of this report. This will make worrying about running out of things to say a thing of the past, even if you don't have an interesting life or hobbies to talk about. In fact, on page 10, I'll show you the 4-letter word I use to guarantee my mind never goes blank when talking. This bonus, valued at $24.95, is yours free when you order today. The second bonus is a report called Social Circle from Scratch. In this report, I'll tell you the secrets you may not have learned growing up about what to say to make friends, and how to have an impressive social life even if you're starting with 0 friends. You'll discover why people don't contact you or invite you out and what to do about it. I'll show you exact word-for-word scripts for what a naturally social person would say when sending a text message to a friend or starting a conversation. This will allow you to come across as someone who is already social. You can think of this as your guidebook for the unwritten rules of the social world. I'll tell you what to say and how to deal with a lot of very specific social situations. For example, you'll see how to answer common questions like what's up or how's it going easily and naturally, including how to respond when someone asks you, what are you up to this weekend or what did you do last night, without coming across as boring or antisocial. This bonus, valued at $29.95, is also yours free today. I've also managed to convince 2 other leading coaches to contribute their best ideas to this package in 2 additional short reports. These are called 7 Conversation Secrets and 10 Keys to Stop Feeling Anxious and Nervous Around People. This means you'll get 2 expert perspectives on these issues from guys with years of experience personally coaching people with your specific problems. Both of these reports could easily be sold for $34.95 each, but you'll get them free today with your purchase of the system. And the final bonus is my favorite. When you invest today, I'm going to give you a 14-day free trial to my Social Immersion weekly training program. This 6-month program will give you new advanced lessons from me to really speed up your transformation. You'll hear exclusive interviews with other experts about social anxiety, conversations, dating, and so on. As part of this offer, I'll let you test drive this program completely free for 14 days. And if you're smart, you'll keep it and remain automatically subscribed at a monthly rate of $37. But if you find the social immersion program isn't for you, then just send my team an email and we'll cancel it before you're charged a penny. So you get all these bonuses along with my core system, making this the most complete system for overcoming social anxiety on the planet. At this point, you're probably wondering how much a system like this is going to cost. Well, let me ask you, how much is it worth to finally have your social anxiety and loneliness behind you? How much is it worth to finally start living the way you see other normal people do? How much is it worth to get rid of the one thing that's holding you back most from the social life, romantic relationship, and career success that you want? I think we can both agree that if there was a program that guaranteed to do this for you, then it would make sense to pay almost anything. And I knew if I charged $300 or $200 for my system, there would be plenty of people who would be willing to invest. After all, many people spend much more than that for a few pills or a couple hours of therapy or coaching for this exact problem. Yet I wanted to make this affordable to anyone who is suffering from social anxiety, and I know that I personally would never have been able to afford $300 back then. So then how much? $175? $150? This is crazy. There's nobody else in the world with the amount of knowledge about social anxiety that I have that has also struggled with this issue personally. It's no exaggeration to say the information inside my system is something you can't find anywhere else. Yet I finally decided to price my system at just $97. And if you're stunned because you realize this tiny investment for everything is less than 1 hour with a therapist, hold on a second because I'm not done. There's simply no escaping the conclusion. Doing what you've always done is simply not good enough. If you continue down your current path, you'll make little or no progress and you'll lose your most precious resource, which is time. There's not a day that goes by where I don't wish I could go back and relive the past 5 or 10 years, knowing what I know now, instead of wasting those years hiding from people and being lonely. I bet you feel the same way about the past 2, 3, or 5 or more years, however long you've had social anxiety. Do you really want to be sitting in front of your computer like you are now in 3, 5, or 10 years, still having the same feelings of regret, still feeling the pain of missing out on fun friendships and connected romantic relationships? I know how much that hurts, and that's just not what I want for you. That's why I want to offer you the easiest decision you'll make all year. Deal? There's 2 reasons I'm able to offer a massive discount on my system today to you. First of all, since I'm able to deliver my system through the internet, that means there's no printing, handling, or shipping charges. And second, I'm still trying to get the word out to everyone in the world who has social anxiety. So the more people I can get to sign up now, the more feedback, testimonials, and buzz I'll get about my system, which means more people coming to my website in the long run. That's why you won't be paying the regular retail price of $97 for my system and all the bonuses. As ridiculous as it sounds, you won't even pay $75. Your total investment today for the Shyness and Social Anxiety system, with all the bonuses you now see on your screen, is just $47. Look now below this presentation, and then click now on the Add to Cart button to invest in the system for the discounted price of $47. Listen, don't decide right now. Take advantage of my triple guarantee. I want you to try the system on me for a full 60 days. If this system doesn't help you more than anything else in eliminating social anxiety in 60 days, or if the techniques don't produce quick and life-changing results in your own life, or even if you don't like the way that I teach or the colors I used in the reports, it doesn't matter. I'll refund 100% of your money with no questions asked and no hard feelings. The reason I can offer this bold of a guarantee is simple. Over 95% of my clients and customers are totally satisfied with their investment, and only a small percentage of people find that the system isn't right for them. And honestly, if I don't help you get the confidence, friends, or romance that you want, then I don't believe I deserve to keep your money. I also know that most people are generally honest, and you wouldn't try to take advantage of my guarantee unless you were truly unsatisfied. Don't you wish everyone believes in their product enough to offer this type of guarantee? So click on the Add to Cart button below this video now to invest in the system risk-free. Just look at what former socially anxious people are saying. By the way, all the feedback and emails I'm going to share with you are on record in case a government agency ever asks me about them. Anna, a young lady from Middlesbrough, England, says, "My biggest problems before were not knowing what to say to people and being too self-conscious. When I first saw your system, I was worried that it wouldn't work and I didn't want to waste money. Since reading your information, I've started improving my conversation skills and being more spontaneous. I can start conversations with people I never would have before, people who are more popular than me, etc. I have more confidence and am revealing myself more to people." Shane Normand, a 38-year-old man from Fort Worth, Texas, said that, "My problem was being shy all my life. I was afraid to talk to people and felt uncomfortable all the time. I'm now attempting to make conversations with as many people as possible. Lauren is a 22-year-old woman from Edmond, Oklahoma. She told me, I'm a college student studying engineering. It requires a lot of teamwork and working with other people. I noticed that people began to stay away from me. I didn't really talk to anyone, and I knew that I was unusually quiet. The big thing for me was the friendships I saw among the engineers that formed without me. That hurt. People didn't send me any messages about when groups were getting together to study. Several times I'd be in the cafeteria and see other engineering students sitting there. I hid from them. I was afraid that if I sat with them, I wouldn't have anything to say. Your system was the first one I could completely relate to. I bought it as soon as I heard about it, and when you spoke of your past experience with social anxiety, it might as well have been me speaking. It rang true, and I couldn't ignore that. I might have hesitated for a few seconds because I didn't want to ask my mom for the money and admit that I was struggling, and I didn't want my dad to know at all. I wasn't willing to discuss it with him. I'm still not. But I was able to talk to my mom, and she felt that this system was something that I needed. I think the system is great. It's a fast read. The ideas and techniques are actually helpful, and I would recommend it to anyone who is struggling with social anxiety. Considering where I started, I think I'm doing well. For example, when I was working on a lab with an assigned partner, we slowly but surely became friends after that. Now my biggest thing is wishing that it had never happened in the first place because I'm aware of how much I missed out on. But I am glad and thankful to be where I am and to be getting better slowly. If you want similar results, improved conversation skills, and a calm confidence that will help you in your social life, your dating life, and career, then click the button below, and you can begin your journey right from the comfort and privacy of your own home. Just remember, life is short and you've been struggling with your social anxiety for far too long. Anything you've tried up until now has not worked, and now you know the real reasons why. Continuing on this path will just lead to even more frustration and helplessness as the months pass by and your social anxiety gets worse. This will continue to be the major problem in your life for years to come, negatively affecting almost every area of your life, from your friendships and relationships, or lack of them, to your academic or financial success, with networking, teamwork, and communication skills more important to employers than ever, even down to your health. In fact, a recent study by the University of Michigan said that scientists have long noted an association between social relationships and health. More socially isolated or less socially integrated individuals are less healthy, psychologically and physically, and more likely to die. Yet all of this can be avoided by using the proven advice and techniques found in my step-by-step system that is based on real scientific research. Imagine the moment you step onto the path of your ideal life. You're finally on your way to being free of all the insecurities, nervousness, and lack of confidence you've been struggling with for so long. You can see yourself feeling relaxed in conversations because you no longer run out of things to say or get a blank mind. You have a more interesting and outgoing life with friends that give you a feeling of connection, belonging, and acceptance. Instead of avoiding people and feeling trapped and choked in social situations, you feel free to speak up without fear. And people love the new you. You can finally get that girlfriend or boyfriend you've wanted for so long because you no longer feel painfully awkward or nervous talking to people you like. You're finally getting what you truly deserve out of life. It's true. Social anxiety up until today has been no fault of your own. Nobody has ever given you specific and exact instructions for what to do to eliminate your social anxiety. All the advice you may have read has been unhelpful, self-help garbage because it was created by people who never truly experienced social anxiety, so they don't know how hard it can be to do something so simple as pick up the phone. Well, now I'm showing you a new path, and it's time for you to take the first step. This is your day to start getting results using a system that simply works. Remember, unlike any other so-called treatment for social anxiety, my system is 100% guaranteed. You have 60 full days to try the Shyness and Social Anxiety system on me risk-free. And either you're totally satisfied with the mind-blowing insights and practical advice inside, or you pay nothing. Plus, if you ever have any questions or comments, feel free to contact me at shyness@shynnesssocialanxiety.com, and either myself or one of my support staff will answer your question. Ask T. Borgen, a 25-year-old guy from Kongsberg, Norway, wrote to me saying, I used to be very shy around other people, even people I'd known for a long time. It was hurting my career as a musician. I've only used your information for a short time, but I already notice I'm more confident now. One specific situation was that I got the job in my last job interview because I was able to be more calm and confident. Now here's probably my favorite success story. It's from a 64-year-old man named John Kay. He said, "High school was a horror show, but I managed to graduate. Barely. My parents always wondered why I spent so much time hibernating in my room. As a teenager and adult, I was not able to sit in a fast food restaurant and always ate in my car. I had panic attacks in shopping malls and did not go out very often. Luckily, I have some artistic skills and found work as a stained glass artist and photographer. I was able to go from job to job based on recommendations without formal job interviews. Up until 50 years ago, I knew something was wrong with me, but I didn't know what it was. I was different from many other people and wondered why I couldn't socialize. I purchased Sean's Shyness and Social Anxiety program. It helped a lot. Sean described what I went through very accurately. His section on how to have a conversation was the best part. At age 63, for the first time in my life, I went to someone's house to meet socially with a group of people. Sean's advice on how to talk to people worked great. If you are younger, please do not wind up like me. Buy Sean's course and apply what he teaches. I wish this course existed when I was in my 20s. Your social contacts will improve and probably your income. Especially with social networking, it is not what you know, it is who you know. I believe, as Sean does, that social anxiety can be overcome. The younger you start to overcome it, the better. In my case, I had 50 years of conditioning to overcome. Thank you, Sean. It is a great comfort that someone else experienced the same symptoms as me, overcame them, and created a product to help other people. Life is all about choices, and right now you have two options. Number one is you can continue to live the same way that I also used to live, wasting whatever youth you have left, feeling like life is passing you by. Or number two, you can try my system, apply my strategies, and live the life you want to live. A wise man once said that everything in life is the direct result of the choices that we make and don't make. I think the choices that we don't make are the ones that really matter. I don't think you ever hear anybody sitting in a nursing home at 80 years old talking about the mistakes of the things that they did do in their life. It's always the regrets of the things that they didn't do that sadden and depress people in their old age. Are you ready? Are you going to regret later that you didn't take action? That you didn't take the chance and roll the dice? Maybe you didn't discover this video by accident. Maybe this is God or the universe sending you a life jacket because you're drowning in social anxiety. So come on, this is your opportunity to make something new happen in your life. Be proactive and take action. Am I pushing you? You bet. I'm going to push you because I know $47 doesn't matter to you one way or another. A recent study showed that the average American worker throws away $91 a month on fancy coffee. $47 doesn't matter to anyone. What does matter is that you make things right in your life, that you become the person that you want to be, that you make the one life you've been given enjoyable, interesting, and fulfilling. So click the button below to get started today, and I'll see you on the other side. Whatever your decision, I sincerely wish you the best with your life. And at the very least, I hope you've gotten the message that you are not alone with your problems. I've been there too, and so have literally thousands of my past students. Make your choice now. You are free to say yes or no. Just realize that by saying no, you are also making a decision. So I'd encourage you to click the Add to Cart button below now. Still here? If you're still watching, I bet you have some questions. Here's a few common ones I get. Number one, how do I know if this is real and will work for me? This is a smart question to have. Whenever I buy things online, I'm always highly skeptical myself. But think about it. I've been running my website on social anxiety since 2011. It would make no sense for me to try to rip anyone off. Reputation spreads fast on the internet. That's why my long-term goal is to help you achieve your goals. Otherwise, I'd be out of business in a week. Number two, I'm not sure if I can overcome my social anxiety because I'm ugly or unattractive. This question is more common than you would think. Many people with social anxiety think they have some flaw in their appearance that's causing your lack of confidence. In fact, for many years I was so insecure about my slightly crooked teeth that I was afraid to even open my mouth or smile. But think about it this way. Have you ever seen a fat or unattractive person able to be confident? Of course, and it's because social anxiety is all in your inner psychology. So while I can't promise you'll have the opposite sex ripping your clothes off, I can guarantee that no matter what you look like, you can overcome your social anxiety using my system. Number 3, how do I know I'll actually get a refund if I want one? Well, the truth is I couldn't really stop you from getting a refund even if I wanted to. See, I use a multi-million-dollar company called ClickBank to process credit card payments. And they have their own support team you can always contact directly by going to clickbank.com. It's their policy to always give a refund to anyone who asks. That being said, I've never refused to give a refund to anyone for any reason. I just don't think it's a good way to do business since word spreads fast on the internet, so I want to keep a good reputation. I'd rather simply deliver the best quality program I can so that you can be totally satisfied with your purchase. This allows me to have a long-term, sustainable business. Number 4, are all the customer reviews you've shown me actually real? I can understand being skeptical about testimonials on the internet. I would be too. But yes, they are all real people who bought my program and emailed me their honest feedback. And I've kept their emails on file in case a government agency ever asks me this question too. When you click the Add to Cart button below, you'll even see actual screenshots of emails I've received from happy past customers on the next page.